And welcome to another edition of The Dungeon Crashers.
Hi, I'm Guy.
And I'm Zaapiel, and today we're going to be making an Artificer. You know, ever since I read this build that you made, I've really wanted to play an Artificer. They're great range damage dealers, and they're pretty good in support. They're okay in melee if you have to be, but you're better off at range. Also, we made mention before in the description of our previous video, we really would like you guys to follow along with us as we're building these characters, and follow along in the books if you can. If not, it makes it really difficult. We especially want you to focus on the skills and abilities, because we're going to give shortened descriptions, and your DM might ask for more clarification if he hasn't dealt with an Artificer before.
Right, like, if you don't have something written down, then I gotta look it up and we gotta have a discussion, and it takes up game time. And plus, it's really fun to know all the tricks you can pull off.
Right. So, follow along with us, and everything will be so much easier. So, wait a minute. Guy, do you hear that ringing?
Yeah, sounds like a bell. Hey, let's get that bell on, people.
Yeah, and hit that like and subscribe. Tell your friends. We need more subscribers, so... And also, if you don't, I'm going to tell your DM to have you face off against Tarax. Well, yeah, you think I'm playing. No. So, with that being said, let's jump into making our Artificer.
Yeah, last video, we said we were going to occasionally do some of the animal races from 5e, like the Tabaxi, Leonin, Lizard Folk, etc. And today we're going to start off using the custom lineage from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything to make the character. I've been wanting to make this for a while. The character bears a superficial resemblance to a popular Marvel property, and since we don't want to get in trouble with Disney, we want to point out that any similarities between Bazooka Beaver and one of their intellectual properties, totally coincidental.
Yes. And like he said, we're using the custom lineage feature. Now, at first you get a +2 to any ability score you choose, an extra skill or dark vision, and a feat. It's kind of like Variant Human, and it can be better or worse in some situations. Today we're doing Beaver Folk, and we're taking our +2 in intelligence, and we're taking dark vision. The feat we're taking is going to be Gunner, and it gives you proficiency with firearms and +1 to your dexterity. It also lets you ignore the reloading properties on your firearm. Now, if your DM doesn't allow guns, which most don't, you can use it with crossbows. Just use the crossbow expert instead of Gunner, and adjust your ability scores to make sure you get the highest dex possible. This build will also work with Variant Human if your DM doesn't allow a custom lineage. Also, if that's the case, excuse me, focus on your Dex, Constitution, and Intelligence. Make sure those three are the highest possible. Dex and Intelligence first, then Constitution for the hit points.
Right. Yeah, for abilities, we're going to put an 8 in Strength, 15 in Dex, which is going to get bumped up by the Gunner feat, like he said. 14 in Con and 14 in Intelligence, which will get our +2. And then a 10 in Wisdom and Charisma. Again, we're using the point buy to get our ability scores. If you roll, just use this as a guide for what you're doing.
Yeah.
From the custom background, we'll be taking Sleight of Hand and Investigation for skills in a gaming set, a gaming set, and water vehicle proficiency. And you're proud of your skill at piloting a ship, and don't let some Azamar and goggles think he's better than you. Let's call it the Waterfront Gambler background. I said this will be an Artificer, and it is, but we're starting with Fighter for archery fighting style, and you also get 2 skills, so take Acrobatics and Perception.
Your starting equipment is going to be studded leather and a short sword, a musket or heavy crossbow depending on your DM. And you get a gaming set plus whatever equipment your DM gives you. Roleplay wise, outside of combat, you don't have much of a dedicated role yet, but later that will come together. With your average wisdom and charisma, it could mean that you're rash, annoying, and make bad decisions, which is how I would roleplay the character. But that's up to you. Sleight of hand also means you're decent gambler, and an okay cheater. So go with that.
At level 2, we're going to take our first Artificer level. Artificers get 3 tool proficiencies: Thieves' Tools, Tinker's Tools, and Artisan's Tools of your choice. These are handy and are the focus for your spells. You also get Magical Tinkering, which lets you make a lot of minor magic items. This is a fun ability. The items are permanent, but you can only have up to your intelligence modifier worth at a time. We just have a character playing in an Artificer in our last game, and he made little darts that he could throw, and they would light up like in a little 5-foot radius sphere of light so he could see things, because we're playing halflings and they don't have dark vision.
Yeah, and it really worked well because the things that we were going against don't like light, so...
Yeah, kobolds.
Yeah, when that light spell went off, they screamed and ran.
Right.
So it was to our advantage. Now, outside of combat with your Artificer, your Thieves' Tools and Investigation give you an ability to find and remove traps, open locks, etc. Magic Tinkering you can use for a variety of things. In combat, try to stay back and shoot stuff. That's what you're good at range. Your hit points and AC are alright, but you're not a melee character. However, if you have to use your sword charge, you're not bad with it either.
No. We get infusions at this level. You get 4 infusions and infuse 2 items at once. You will want repeating shot, making your musket a +1 magic weapon that no longer needs bullets, and enhanced defense, which will make your armor +1. These are permanent until you infuse more items than allowed, in which case the oldest one disappears. For your remaining 2 infusions, have fun. Replicate magic item has some great options like Goggles of Night and Bag of Holding. You might use this instead of enhanced defense for your second infused item.
Yeah. Artificers don't have either a spell book or a list of spells known. They prepare their spells like from the Artificer list. You compare a number of spells equal to half your Artificer level rounded down plus your intelligence modifier. So at this level, we get 4 spells. You also get 2 cantrips. For cantrips, Mending and Message are both good. You don't really have any damage cantrips, but Shocking Grasp could also be useful if you need to get out of a melee situation.
Right.
Spells can be anything you want, but Detect Magic and Identify are really good choices since you can't use rituals.
Right.
Absorb Elements is nice in an emergency, and Snare is good if you have time to set it up.
Yeah.
You get Shield and Thunder Wave prepared for free at this level.
Right. And at 4th level, we'll take our 3rd Artificer level, getting our specialty. We're going with Artillerist, getting a small self-propelled cannon. It can be small or tiny. If it's tiny, it shares your space and can be carried. I like to have it perch on my shoulder or cling to my forearm, just for style purposes, but rule-wise, it doesn't matter. It's small, and if it is small, it occupies its own space and kind of follows you around.
Yeah. Activating it is a bonus action, so now you can fire your musket and shoot a 2d8 force blast or a 50-foot cone of flame. It can also be put up a force field, giving you and your allies temporary hit points. You can only choose one of these when you create your cannons. For this character, we like to use the Force Ballista, but the flamethrower is very tempting. You can also craft any set of artisan tools you might need with an hour of work, so it takes an hour to build them, and they vanish once you use the ability they're used for, and then you can make another set. You're pretty good in a fight at this point, and you're a good problem solver outside of combat.
And at 5th level, we're taking our 4th Artificer level. You get an ability boost, which you can use for Dex or Intelligence. Right now, Dex is your better investment. At 6th level, we take our last Artificer level for a while. We get our Arcane Firearm, which is a wand, which is an arcane focus for your Artificer spells, and adds a d8 to 1 damage roll of a spell you cast with it. Using your Arcane Focus doesn't require an action, so no need to spend an item interaction to draw it. It's just part of the spell.
Yeah. Also at this level, you get 2nd level spells. And with your Arcane Firearm, you should pick up some damage spells like Scorching Ray and Shatter at this level prepared for free, and both will get a great bonus and an extra d8 tacked on. Could be better than your musket, and you can still use the cannon bonus as a bonus action.
Right. And at 7th, we're taking 2nd level Fighter. You get Action Surge, and since you do a lot of damage with either your musket or crossbow, or your Arcane Firearm, Action Surge could really wreck a powerful enemy. We're going here to pump up your damage output with your musket and get a couple of ability boosts over the next few levels.
Yep.
At 8th level, we're taking our 3rd Fighter level, going for Champion subclass, giving you criticals on a 19 or 20. You could take Eldritch Knight here instead, as it also uses intelligent spellcasting and can really help your casting out. But Artificer already has a lot going on, and we just did an Eldritch Knight build, so we are keeping it simple. However, you don't mind a little extra complexity, go for it. If you rolled your abilities and have a 14 or better to spare on Wisdom, it wouldn't be hard to rework this using Hunter Ranger instead of Fighter. Hunter's Mark, Colossus Slayer, and Ranger spells like Hail of Thorns could all be all sorts of win with this build.
Yeah. At 9th level, you're taking your 4th level of Fighter. Gets an ability booster of feat. Let's take the Sharpshooter feat, allowing you to ignore range and partial cover and subtract 5 from your hit and add 10 to the damage. So that's a good feat for you. At 10th level, you're taking your 5th level of Fighter. It gets an extra attack, which is why you come all this way, and really ramping up your damage, especially after the feat you just took last level. At 11th level is going to be your 6th level of Fighter. You get ability boost, we're going to use that to cap off dexterity. And at this level, you're a damage powerhouse. You have a plus 12 to your hit with your magic musket, doing a d12 plus 6 damage. Or if you use sharpshooter feat, you can do a plus 7 to hit and a d12 plus 16 damage, and an extra attack. And you also do criticals on a 19 and 20. You also have your good spell damage and a bonus attack with your cannons, whether you use an attack or cast a spell. You also have the option like shield or absorb elements to prevent damage, or blink could also help you avoid being hit. Plus you have 18 AC, plus a lot of useful tricks outside of combat.
Yeah. And at 12th level, you're going to take 6th level Artificer. You get expertise with any tool proficiency, meaning locks and mechanical traps are no longer a problem, and your other tools can solve a bunch of other adventure-related problems that might come up. More importantly, you get another infused item and 2 more infusions. That can be from the 6th level list. Replicate items for Gloves of Thievery is great. Spell Renewal Ring is also great. Resistant Armor is good if you'd rather have an energy resistance than a +1, so you might retrain the Enhanced Defense infusion. Mm-hmm. At 13th level will be 7th level Artificer, giving you Flash of Genius, a number of times per day equal to your Intelligence modifier. You can add your Intelligence modifier to any save or ability check that you or anyone in 30 feet makes. Yep. So, yeah.
This gives you great party support option in and out of combat. Your party's big stupid fighter is about to be held or dominated, you yell out some advice that helps him make his save. The party's face character is trying to talk his way past some guards and make an intelligence observation that makes his case for him. The possibilities are endless depending on how you use it.
Yeah. And at 14th level is the 8th level Artificer. You get another ability boost, and we need intelligence. A lot of your stuff doesn't require saving throws, but that's going to change soon. Plus more intelligence means more spells prepared and more flashes of genius.
Yep.
And at 15th level, go on 9th level Artificer. Gives you 3rd level spells. It also improves your cannon, adding a d8 to its damage rolls. You can also use it for a bomb, sending it to run over to something and blow up. For 3d8 force damage to everything in 20 foot, for a dex save for half. Not necessarily a good idea, but really could come in handy.
And it'd be cool.
Yeah. And you could just leave it somewhere within 60 feet of you as a booby trap and just detonate it when enemies pass by.
No, landmine.
Landmine.
You also get Fireball and Wind Wall prepared at this level for free. Fireball is a much better option than blowing up one of your cannons, especially with the D8 added from your arcane firearm. Wind Wall is one that usually doesn't get prepared, but since you can get it for free, you might as well. And it can be useful in the right situations. Your arcane firearm also adds a D8 to its damage.
Yeah. And Blink and Haste are other great options to prepare at this level.
Yes.
16th level is 10th level Artificer. You get another infused item and 2 more infusions that can be off the level 10 list. You also become a magic item adept, letting you attune up to 4 items. It also helps out if you're crafting magic items using the crafting rules. Talk to your DM. You can get wing boots at this level with replicate magic item, which is awesome. A flying artillery piece can just win fights.
Yeah.
Homunculus Servant is really good. It does take a bonus action to command to do, so it will conflict with your cannon. But it flies fast and has a decent range attack. This will be even better next level when you get spell storing item. If you don't want to deal with the Homunculus, there are a lot of other good choices. 17th level is 11th level Artificer. It gets a spell storing item, allowing you to store a 1st or 2nd level spell with a casting time of 1 into a small item like Scorching Ray.
Yeah. Your Homunculus Servant is a creature that you could also use Scorching Ray, for example. You give them the item with the stored spell in it, and they can walk around and shoot it off for you. You could also give this to another party member or one of their minions, like an undead or something along those lines. It lasts until it gets used a number of times equal to twice your intelligence modifier. So if your intelligence modifier is 4, you can use it 8 times before the item is broken.
Right.
Scorching Ray is one good option. Be creative. You can use it for all kinds of utility spells.
Right. And when it runs out, you can just make a new one.
Yeah.
18th level is 12th level Artificer to get an ability score improvement, and it's the last one we're going to get, so we're going to cap our intelligence.
Yep.
19th level is 13th level Artificer to get 4th level spells, and that's about it for this level.
Yeah. Ice Storm and Wall of Fire are prepared at this level for free, and both can be good evocations if used in the right situations. They also get bumped up by your arcane firearm. There are also good utility spells at this level, such as Arcane Eye, Lehman's Secret Chest, and Fabricate. Fabricate can be good since you have tool expertise.
Right. You can make jewelry or traps.
Yeah.
Our last level is the 14th level of Artificer. You get a magic item savant, letting you attune up to 5 magic items and ignore most race and class restrictions, like you can use a holy sword.
Yeah.
You also get 2 new infusions and another infused item. Replicate magic item can get you nice things like Ring of Protection, Gem of Seeing, and Amulet of Health, which would set your Constitution to 19. That would be a nice investment in a magic item.
Yeah. Now, this build is a great damage dealer and utility and support player. It's also a lot of fun to play. One change that you could make is at 11th level, 6th level of fighter, you can change that to Artificer level. You would have to go accordingly, and by the end you would have level 15th Artificer by level 20, which gives you the ability to fortify your position, which gives you and your allies partial cover within 10 feet of your cannons, and I did say of your cannons because you have more than one now. You have 2, and they can be same or different types, the force, the flamethrower, and so on. And you can shoot both of them off as the same bonus action. This could easily be worth 1 ability boost that you would lose by dropping the fighter level, and it's a nice capstone to the build.
Right, that's a really good point. In fact, this build has a lot of flexibility. Ideally, you'll get infusions and extra attack as soon as possible, but after that, if you want to change the order you take the levels in, it's fine. If you'd rather focus on infusions and spellcasting over shooting, take more Artificer level first. Yeah. Or if you want to cap dexterity before taking Sharpshooter, that can be an excellent choice. Just have fun with it.
Yeah. We're just giving you our recommendations for these builds. If you follow along, you can still mix up the levels and still make a great character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And with that, this is going to bring our build to a close. This seems like a fun class, and artificers can be played in our sorts of roles, not just damage dealers. It could be tanks or even healers. If you have any questions or comments about this build, please leave it in the comment section below. We will get back to you as soon as we can. Also, if you have a character you want to see us make and make a video for it, leave it in the comments below too as well. Okay. And a little sneak peek for our next video, we're making one of my favorite characters. It's going to be a very sneaky guy.
Yep, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
And I just want to give a shout out to a Facebook page, D&D Monsters and More.
Yeah.
They're a great bunch of guys on there, and girls. In fact, there's a lot of D&D girls on there, which being an old school D&D player is kind of new for me. But, they're great. And they have a little mentorship thing, and if you have a question about a character, or a lot of people just ask for plot stuff on there, like a DM comes in and he goes, I'm making a trap for my characters, my players, but I don't know how to, set up this puzzle or this poem or whatever, and people will chime in, they'll get like 50 responses telling them good ideas, and some of them are great, and people go with it, and they're also really polite, you don't get a lot of harassment from people like gatekeepers and stuff trying to say, oh no, you should do it this way. It's really just a great bunch of guys.
Yeah. So definitely look into that, the D&D Monsters and More.
D&D Monsters and More.
On Facebook, so look into them. So.
All right. Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Make sure to tune in next week.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Until next time.